Hey everybody, nobody here. I'm just copying a big streamer's build. I'm not original. I'm a Warlock main, but Solar Hunter's feeling pretty sweet right now. Not that Solar Hunter was at all in need of help. In fact, my go-to Hunter build has basically been untouched mechanics-wise. Just gets a bunch of extra oomph for doing the same exact thing. What is that thing? Tossing Tripmines and spamming abilities. And it's all thanks to young Ahamkara's spine. Probably seen the Dado video by now. Well, it's not news. Young Ahamkara's spine, it's been good for a while. It's a bit of a mid/close range build. It focuses on sustained damage, independent of the ammo economy. Has a bit of a hard time when it comes to survivability, but you can fix that if you want. And it also does not rely on any artifact mods, so no FOMO. I highly recommend this build if you're going to take it into Nightfalls, raids, dungeons, any of the mid to high level activities, short of Grandmasters. So let's get into the things that actually matter for this build. First, young Ahamkara's spine. You want it to be solar so that you can have impact induction on it. Next, for your dodge, you'll want to rock gamblers so that you can refresh your melee and keep the engine going. For your knives, you'll want the triple knife trick, so that you can scorch enemies, which will synergize with one of our fragments. You will be meleeing a lot, so if you've not already done so, you should bind your melee ability in the settings so that you don't accidentally flick some thrall in the throat and then die to it. For your aspects, you have two choices. You can rock Knock 'em Down and On Your Mark, or you can rock Gunpowder Gamble and On Your Mark. As for the fragments, you'll want Singeing, Searing, and Torches. The others are just gravy, but I like Solace, Beams, and Empyrean. For the super, it's preference, although right now Blade Barrage is hitting pretty damn hard. Feels like you're throwing bricks instead of knives. There are no specific weapons or exotics that you need to watch out for. It's mostly preference or champion based. There are a pair of weapon perks to look out for. You'll want to keep an eye on Swashbuckler and Adrenaline Junkie. You really only care about the damage from them. You don't really care about ability regen like you would get from Demolitionist. That said, I do recommend a rocket with Demolitionist so that you can reload it with all those Tripmines you'll be throwing. Grave Robber can be nice, but again, not necessary. And also, the new perk Incandescent, pretty good, has some good synergy, but again, not needed. If you need a weapon idea, then I highly recommend either Drang Baroque or the Callus mini tool that's been reprised. With Incandescent and Grave Robber, Callus mini tool, which is craftable, is pretty good at all of the things you're already going to be doing. With Grave Robber, you don't have to reload it. With Incandescent, it'll refresh your ability engine if for some reason it falls off. Gameplay goes like so. You throw a grenade, you throw your knives, you throw another grenade, you dodge, you throw your knives, you throw another grenade. You can also fire your gun sometimes, if you feel like it. The real beauty of this build, though, is its flexibility. When it comes to combat style, you have tons of options. It really just depends on what you want to get out of the build. We are already great at taking on majors since our abilities do good damage relatively safely, so if you want to make ad clear easier, then Warmind cells might be your best choice. Since you'll want impact induction, your exotic should be solar, which means that it's really easy to slot on one of the Warmind cell mods that's focused on damage/ad clear. All you need is one other solar armor piece, and all of a sudden, your grenades now, every once in a while, spawn a Warmind cell that you can blow up to blow everything up. Don't forget global reach though, that one's pretty necessary. One thing to note, burning cells doesn't seem to synergize with Solar 3.0 in any significant capacity, so don't feel obligated to fit that one in. Your other two slots would be home free. Medic is nice, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's a little, too late if you ask me. Everything will probably already be dead if you've managed to get the Warmind explosion off. This doesn't really work as well for higher end content since you'll have to put yourself at a little bit of risk in order to actually get the Warmind cell and get the engine going to do that. But that doesn't mean this build is bad in high end content. In fact, if you want to focus on survivability, then Charge with Light mods are probably the way to go. With the solar mod Heal Thyself, you heal yourself. Yeah. It's actually pretty noticeable, but you definitely want to double stack it. I tried it with just one copy of the mod, and not much. That route's probably best if you're going to go solo or do any hard lost sectors, just because it's, again, a little safer. Make sure not to use this with energy converter. I know it can be tempting since you'll be throwing a lot of grenades, but it's still going to eat up your charges before the grenade actually gets a kill. You won't actually get healed. If you want to focus more on group content or supporting, then you should swap in the Ember of Benevolence, first of all. You're throwing a lot of melees, they're going to be making people radiant, you're going to be getting your abilities back even faster, and you won't have to worry at all about the engine falling apart. It also makes it so that you don't have to worry as much about actually getting kills with your abilities in order to get your abilities back, which was a major pain point in Datto's video. If you're going to do this, then I recommend going the Elemental Well route, since, other people can slot on mods that benefit from certain Elemental Wells. In my case, I like to go whole hog. I slap on all the well makers. I go melee, grenade, armaments, if I'm rocking solar weapons, or even the super one. By that I mean your super making a well, but you can also use Font of Wisdom if that's your taste. You might also want Explosive Well Maker because that's a different mod, you don't have to worry about Bountiful Wells, that will still make solar wells on your explosive kills. I know that Well of Life can be tempting, but it's really slow. I don't recommend it. Anything heavier than a Thrall will probably kill you through it. So let me just show off a couple of the ways you can go about it. First, I'll slap on Wrath and Rage and Global Reach. I've also got this old 7 Seraph sidearm that I like quite a bit. I know that sidearms kind of get a bad rep. If you're also rocking Blade Barrage, that does count for Wrath, so those solar explosions will make Warmind cells as well. It'll happen fairly frequently, surprisingly so, and you'll clear out entire waves. But again, just like all Warmind cell builds that are based around damage, it doesn't really scale too well up into higher activities. Fun to watch stuff blow up though. Next, we'll swap to the Well Makers. Grenade, melee, super, explosive, wisdom, because I'm dumb. Like I said, it's pretty flexible. You don't have to worry too much about any particular actions you need to take. You just use your grenade if you have it, you throw your knives if you have it, you throw your grenade if you have it, you dodge if you don't have either of those. Pretty straightforward. As for this season, you can rock Classy Restoration, although it's expensive. That's the main reason why I don't really build into it. I prefer something like Absolution, because if I'm going to heal myself on grenade kills, I might as well just get my grenade back faster. I'll go ahead and stop here. I'll put on some combat just in the background so that you can kind of see the general loop you'll go through. Again, one of the best things about this build is that you really don't care if you don't have heavy. You can just throw grenades instead and do pretty decent damage. This was the first video that I've worked on since making a couple of memes in college, so let me know how cringe it was in the comments. Don't subscribe or like it.